Hey everybody, this is Craig from 9 Volt Games. You can't see my face. There we go. Today we're going to talk about this. Now, I've done this video before, I think twice, and people don't like it. Not the video. People don't like this. And it's understandable because the games were in the PAL format and it didn't have the frame rate that it should. And the game selection was pretty lackluster. I even say pretty lackluster. I feel like if you throw a racing game in and it's not like Crash Team Racing, any party-based game, like what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? There's so many better options out there. Even if you're I'm not a racing game fan, but if you're a racing game fan, like there's so many better options. Who's gonna go back and play a game on a PS1? But I did a little thing, very simple, not complicated. Just this right here, and I put 40 more games on it. So let's check it out. I'm not gonna play all the games, obviously. And you can put way more than 40 on here, but I have so many different emulation boxes that it's kind of pointless for me to continuously put more and more games on here. All right, so the hack is very simple. It's not even a hack. I'm not going to call it a hack. It's literally just like pop a memory card in and fuck with it. It's so simple, and you can take that memory card out, and boom, it's the same classic mini console. But this is Project Eris. It's run an emulation station, and then it runs RetroArch. So it's essentially, it's the same as what I do with Raspberry Pis with making a mini console. It's just this one I don't need to get someone with a 3D printer to make me a box that looks like a PS1 because I already have it. So like I said, I got 40 games available on here. I haven't messed with the UI very much. Like I said, it's exactly the way I do it with the Raspberry Pis. So I actually have all the files to go in, and I'm going to eventually change the background of this. This one is for my son. So, obviously I put some games on here that I can fuck around with while I'm doing it. But I'm going to make this have at least 120 games on it, so then he never asks me for any classic games again. But here's what I put on so far. I don't know how well this is going to show up. No, we don't need to do this. But we got Alien Trilogy, Bubsy 3D, Clock Tower 1, Clock Tower 2, Croc 2, Disruptor, Duke Nukem Land of the Babes, Duke Nukem Time to Kill, Earthworm Jim 2, the European version, because I don't believe we had Earthworm Jim 2 in America on PlayStation 1. Exhumed, which is a European game. I have a couple European games that didn't come out in the States. Final Doom, Galarians, Gex 2, Hell Knight, Legacy of Kain. I do have Soul Reaver on here, but that's the original Legacy of Kain. Loaded, MK Mythologies, MK Trilogy, Mortal Kombat. Obviously, I'm going to have the Mortal Kombats on here. Notice there's no Special Forces. I will not play that shit ever again. Ninja, Nitrous Oxide, NO2. This is one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games that I always forget about. I hear a child sneaking around. I'm gonna run into that real quick. So, one, Pepsi Man, which my son really wanted after watching Angry Video Game Nerd. So thanks, James Rolfe, for that. And there's another game on here that's because of that, too. R-Type Delta, Rampage World Tour, Resident Evil 1. And this one also says Resident Evil 1, but it's actually Resident Evil 1.5. Hey, I keep hitting a button. I use a PlayStation 4 controller with this. It's very sensitive. Resident Evil Nemesis, Resident Evil Survivor is the other one that I was talking about. Silent Hill, Skull Monkeys, South Park, Thrill Kill, which was the banned game that was too violent, and then they threw the Wu-Tang Clan in it and called it Shaolin style. Toy Story 2, Twin Goddess, Twisted Metal 2, Twisted Metal 3, and Warpath Jurassic Park. What did I say? I was going to play Nitrous Oxide and listen to the best music that 1998 had to offer. This game just reminded me of an old style shooter, like not like Centipede, but I'm trying to think. It's a game where you fucking went around in a circle and shot. It's an old game. I can't think of it at the top of my head. It starts with a G. Music by the Crystal Method. But anyways, that's all this is. And it's updated to 3D graphics. This game used to make me motion sick when I was a kid, so I loved it and hated it at the same time. But it's basically fight bugs, listen to Crystal Method, get to the end of the level, rinse and repeat, upgrade your ship, blah, blah, blah. So, let's do a level here. I gotta set. Oh, good. It's got the bar. It's got the bars, so I don't have to fucking sit too far off screen because it's very difficult to play this shit. See, you just go around the circle and fucking shoot. Kill the bugs, and then the song. Oh, I fucking suck. And the song plays as you go. So it kind of reminds me of, at least the setup reminds me of Frequency with a very simplified version, obviously, where you're not making the music, but you're just fighting through the music. I gotta really stop sucking ass at this. Shoot that mushroom, bro. There you go. I hope I ram this fucking button a lot harder, a lot more frequently. There we go. Give me a power up. End of the level, and that's it. And then wait a minute, no need to stand up to reset it since it's RetroArch. We just go back this way, right? Quit, goes back to the menu, then we go, whoops, fuck. I have it set to fucking Japan. The input's different. Here, we'll switch it right back. RetroArch is done the way that I'm used to it here. But this is set to like a Nintendo controller, so it's pretty bothersome. Alright, and then I'll do a quick, I believe this is Resident Evil 1.5, we'll see. Yep. Where it was just said Biohazard 2, because this was originally what Resident Evil 2 was supposed to be. And obviously we're not going to play as Leon, because Leon is, he made it in the game, so we'll play as Elsa. Resident Evil 2. This is not the complete version because I don't have the patch that they did to make it more playable. Leon is 21. Elsa Walker is 19. She's not even holding a gun. She's not even holding it. All right. Alright, let's fucking... Whoop, let's find a zombie. My buttons are all fucked here. The way I want to open the door is not the correct button to open the door. I don't even have a weapon, man. I got a knife. I got a knife that's not equipped. There we go. I'm gonna run by you until I find a gun. Alright, you got it. I'm sorry I bothered you, okay? I don't know what the fuck's going on here. It's just because it's unfinished. It's so... Look at, he's stuck in the fucking crate. Are you listening? Ah! Yeah, well, he's not very much of a threat. Yeah, I'll take the gun. Thank you for giving me the gun. Alright. I don't know how to switch over, though. That's the problem. Here we go. I don't know how to get back. God damn it. The game froze. Well, I need to download the patch. But anyways, I originally was going to show you that with the patch, which I don't have, and ask if people on my channel wanted to see me actually do a stream of this. Obviously not off camera. I'll be doing it through my OBS. But anyways, yeah. So, the PlayStation Mini let's shut this off. The PlayStation Mini sucked at launch. This is not news to anybody. It was awful, and they fleeced us. And if you bought one for more than $100 or $100, like, I think if you spent more than, I bought one for $50. If you spent more than $20 on this and you were looking forward to it, you got burned. If you bought one knowing the potential that it had and that it already sucked, then you probably did the same thing that I did. It's worth getting a 120 gigabyte short flash drive. I got a short one. I'll show you. Oh, I almost just fucked the whole thing up. Don't ever take that flash drive out. Let's go on. It's just a short stubby one. It's not one that's going to stick out. If you drop it, it's going to break or any of that shit. Just a tiny one. And this one is, actually this one's 256, but you can get 128 fits a lot of fucking PS1 games. Then you can make the system worth it. On top of that, you can actually go backwards with emulation, but I will tell you that emulating N64, even if it's the MuPen, like the really good one, the really good emulator, it doesn't work well on this. You might as well just get a Raspberry Pi, but going backwards and putting, you know, Nintendo's Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis games, they all work well. And the USB controllers, because it's RetroArch, you can actually use, you know, USB Sega Genesis controllers, USB Super Nintendo controllers. But again, you're better off just buying Jesus Christ, a Raspberry Pi and then making a Retro Pi or Retro Arcade, because one of these is just more for having the PlayStation Classic. I buy these to collect them. Now, in my last video, I did the Genesis Mini, and I love when people get salty and don't explain why they don't like something. I buy these to collect them. I will tell you that if you want to emulate, all right, for one, I'll say this right off the bat, because I say this in videos and apparently nobody hears me. I'll say it clearly. The best way to play these is the original way that they were made, okay? As intended. Get a Sega Genesis, play Sega Genesis. Get a PlayStation, get a CRT TV, play it on there. Fucking, as far as like Silent Hill 2, play it on a goddamn PlayStation 2. If you don't have those options, these are not bad. If you missed out on a wave of a generation of games and people online are making them too fucking expensive for you to get your hands on, I'm not going to tell you you're doing something bad by doing this. Pirating games is not optimal, right? At one point in time, I owned every game that was on this video, except for the ones that were from, you know, obviously the ones that weren't from this region. I did not own those because I did not import games when I was a teenager. But if it's a dead system and you're not buying it from a retailer and it's not something that was worked on in the last 20 years, come on. I hate that shit. So I'm going to tell you that going back and building a RetroPie, going back and getting the PlayStation Classic and adding more games to it because Sony fucked you, like, don't feel bad about that shit. And don't shit on other people for it. If you're stealing fucking PS4, I would even go back and say, if you're stealing PS2 and up, I didn't even say that. If you're stealing PS3 or 360 and up, shame on you. If you're stealing PC games, shame on you. But if they're old classics and people like the fucking, I'm not going to name any names, but there's channels on here that are very popular because of their collections, which is cool. But then they show you something really cool, and then a bunch of ultras jump on it, and it hikes the price up. Case in point is with my Silent Hill games, all right? So if somebody told me, hey, well, Good Old Games has Silent Hill The Room. But if someone told me, hey, I downloaded an emulator to play Silent Hill 3. Okay. Why should you pay $90 or more for that? That's not okay. So, sorry. I know this video was about the PlayStation Mini and how much I enjoy it, but the more I show you these consoles, the more I kind of need to address what's the obvious elephant in the room. I'm not going to tell you where to get things, and I'm not going to tell people how to do it. You can look it up on your own. If you're tech savvy enough, you're going to look at one page, or you're going to figure out how to do it yourself. I learned how to do this shit a long time ago. I went to school for, not for this, obviously, but I went to school for it. I built arcade machines. Like, it's something that was self-taught. it's not difficult. It's not difficult, especially if it's something already on an existing thing. Like all you're doing is just you're putting something on here, which is very easy to find, and I won't link it because Google hates me enough. But you're putting something on here that's really just installing itself on top of your system. And as long as this is in here, this becomes your system. And as long as you take it out, it goes back. So I like this kind of hack for this, whereas my my Super Nintendo Classic and my NES Classic, like they're changed forever. And this one can always go back. And what kind of sucks about it is the PlayStation Classic will never be a classic. Nobody's going to want this in 20 years. People will want the Super Nintendo Classic and the NES Classic in 20 years. Those will be collector's items. This one might be a collector's item in the same vein that E.T. is a collector's item. You know what I mean? An infamous one, and not necessarily worth a lot because I got a complete version of E.T. for like $13 back when they were doing the dig. So yeah. Hopefully you like the first half of the video. I'm sorry that the second half of the video was different, but some of you guys like that shit. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. I hope everybody's doing great.